Hey everybody, alright, so we're gonna be playing the demo for Kaizoku Musou 2 today. I got it off the Japanese PSN, and from what I hear, it's actually a bit improved, so I'm excited to play this. I've had Kaizoku Musou 1 already for a year, so this is gonna be interesting. I'm definitely going with Law. I've had enough of Luffy from Part 1. If you played Part 1, you know that the entire story mode, you play with Luffy, and it's just non-stop Luffy. So it's going to be refreshing to play as Trafalgar Law, and I'm actually going to skip all the cutscenes because I'm just not a big fan of cutscenes. So we're going to just jump right into the action, straight up action. That's what I like to do. And by the way, anybody that's wondering, oh, what's going on with Storm 3? I actually just beat the game, and I wanted to play it just for strictly enjoyment before I actually started recording a walkthrough. And with the walkthrough, I'm probably just going to do the battle scenes as well, because I don't think it's necessary to show the cutscenes, because, I mean, you watch the anime, read the manga, and if you have the game yourself, then, you could experience it that way. So yeah, that was just a quick tidbit regarding that. Alright, let's see how it goes. It's been a little bit since I've actually played, so I'm a little unfamiliar with the buttons. So this is going to be interesting. Alright, okay, square. Here we go. Let's see what this R1 that keeps telling me to do. Oh shit, they all in slow motion. Level up. Nice. Damn, I just leveled up for basically nothing. But then again, it's the beginning, so it's whatever. Oh, sweet, that's the... Okay, yeah, this is the switching thing. I really like this one. Get to switch. Oh, wow, so even though Zoro's technically not a playable character in the demo, like, you can't pick him, he's still playable, so that's pretty awesome. So far, I just like that, like, there's different characters, and I believe that they upped the roster quite a bit for this particular game, so that's always exciting, because, playing with the same characters can get tiring. Although I think for a Musou game, they did a pretty good job, because a lot of people, they don't like hack and slash games. They think that it's just, hey, taking Dynasty Warriors and skinning them with your favorite anime characters and whatnot. And to an extent, you could probably argue that. But like games like this one, Bleach Soul Resurrection, even though I think that this is far superior to Bleach Soul Resurrection in pretty much every aspect. I mean, just has like more, I guess in a way, not by miles or anything like that, but definitely a little bit more complexity to the moves and whatnot, like, a couple of different combos and stuff, especially with certain characters. Like, I remember in Part 1 playing with Nami, you could do, like, different combos with her maneuvers and whatnot, with, like, the clouds and the lightning and stuff like that. So there's definitely, like, a little bit more intricacy to the One Piece Pirate Warrior games as opposed to, like, a Storm, or, not a Storm, what the hell am I bringing up Storm? A Bleach Soul Resurrection, or like any of those like hack and slash games. So there's that, I guess, with that. Pretty standard though. I'm liking it, but it feels a little bit like he moves a little bit slow, but then again he also feels like very powerful. So it's kind of like, I guess it evens it out. Like he's super like strong and he has some pretty awesome attacks here, but he gotta move a little bit slow. Kind of like a Whitebeard in Part 1. And I wonder if Whitebeard is gonna be playable in this one. Because, as some of you may know, he, according to this timeline, well, I don't want to jump into spoilers, but yeah, I'm just curious, will Whitebeard be playable? I mean, it's not that big a deal to have him as a playable character, so much for the story mode, so hopefully they will. It would be a little bit annoying if they took him out, because he was a lot of fun to play with in Part 1. I played a lot with Part 1, I think I maxed out. I know I maxed out Luffy. I don't know if I maxed out anyone else, but I know I got like a bunch of high levels for like all my characters. I at least leveled up a little bit, and then there's some, like, I think I got like Sanji level 30 and a couple other different characters. So I went pretty in with Musou 1. I had a lot of fun with that, because it's just like that's the thing about hack and slashers. It's like, they're not the most crazy, oh my gosh, I don't understand it kind of games, but they deliver just like, you get to kick back and enjoy. And like with anything, I think that, like, I've said this in multiple videos now, entertainment for me personally is one of the biggest aspects of any, like, anime, manga, or video game. It's just like, I want to be entertained, and with hack and slash, it just feels so like, just sit back, chill, yeah, you're spamming the same buttons or whatever, but like, you just kick back and relax, and that's one of the things that I love about hack and slash games, is like, you get to enjoy yourself, you don't really gotta think too much. Yeah, when the big bosses show up, then you gotta, like, you know, put your thinking cap on a little bit, like, you know, holy shit, I'm a bit over my head, but for the most part, you can just, like, you know, kick back and enjoy just, you know, beating the dog crap out of all these foes that you have on the screen. You know, who doesn't love that? Bam. I think I cleared everything here, so we can get moving now. Yeah, there we go. So far, this demo is fun. I mean, it's not a radical departure from Part 1 by any means. You know, like I said, I played a lot of Part 1, so it's not like, you know, the biggest change, but it definitely, you know, has some improvements. I like the way it flows a little bit more nicely. I have to do a double Musou. I gotta get that so I can test that out. So I guess I'm gonna save up my energy bars or whatever, my Musou bars. I can test that out. But so far, I mean, you know, sometimes if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, you know, of course I'm not gonna jump too far from it because the first game was widely successful. I think it did over 1 million copies it sold. So, you know, I mean, me personally, you know, I love One Piece. I'm a huge, you know, I'll just say I'm a One Piece fanboy. So, you know, I went out and got the treasure box. I don't know if I'm getting a treasure box this time around. I'm definitely at the minimum, I'm gonna be picking up the regular edition import from Japan. But I might take it a step further and pick it up for the Vita as well, because as many of you may know, the Vita ain't got no games, and I want games for my Vita. And what better way to get games than, you know, pick up the Kaizoku Musou 2 for it. I mean, I wonder how different is it going to be. I'd imagine it should be, like, nearly identical to this. I wouldn't see a reason for it to be not, like, you know, just pretty much almost the same like this, other than, like, you know, a few tweaks here and there that they can't obviously do on a handheld that they can do on here. But for the most part, I'd imagine it being nearly identical. I don't see why it wouldn't be. Alright, let's see. I got Law, both of his Musou bars up, so let's charge them up and see what this is. Whoa! I guess we are slicing mountains. Oh man, this is loads of fun to play. It's just like, especially when you play online with a friend, it is just like, you know, you're chatting, you're having a great time, you know, you just keep on slashing the shit out of people, you get to play with your favorite characters from one of your favorite series, One Piece. Like, this is hands down, like, if you're a One Piece fan and you're a gamer, and you just like to, you know, kick back and enjoy, then by all means, you know, this is the game for you. Like, I know for me this was like the perfect fit for a video game. You know, get relax and chill, and honestly, that's really what it feels like. Definitely, when I pick this up, and I'll do a lot of, like I said, gameplay walkthroughs. The thing with walkthroughs is that I like to have a first experience with it, and then do the walkthrough, because, you know, the walkthrough is, I don't want to say tedious, but it's more work than just a simple gameplay, so to speak. Like a walkthrough, you gotta, like, record, you gotta know, you don't want to make the videos too long. Like, I don't want to have, like, two-hour parts on a walkthrough. So on a walkthrough, it's a little bit more you gotta put into it. But like with this particular game, I don't see myself playing it twice, so I'd imagine the walkthrough will be my first time playing. So it's gonna be interesting. I don't know, maybe I'll try to edit them and chop them up, that way that the parts won't be long and I'll still get to enjoy as much. You know, maybe like I'll play 2 hours at a time or something like that, and then I'll chop up the footage down so that way it won't be too long. And that's another thing, I don't like to drown people out, because I know when you're doing you know, from experience, from watching people's walkthroughs and people's gameplays and whatnot, and going through story modes and stuff, you know, you get sometimes bored. You don't want to always, like, keep on following this thing for like 200 parts. So that's another thing, like, you gotta learn how to basically fit enough time for like a video, because you don't want them to be like too short and make a million parts. Then at the same time, you know, it's really just a big pacing issue when you're doing a walkthrough. Because, like, you know, nobody's gonna sit there. Well, I'm sure that there are people, but the majority of people aren't gonna sit there for like 2 hours at a time watching me play this game. And, you know, I don't expect you to, and I wouldn't want to put people through that. So, like, you know, a good 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes at the most, maybe a little bit longer. This will probably end up being longer than that, I'm sure, because as right now, I think we're hitting the 10-minute mark. So, you know, you got to do a fair share, and that's going to be tough with this particular game, because I'd imagine that it's going to be semi-long. I know when I played the story mode for part 1, it was pretty long, so I wouldn't be surprised this one being long as well. But then again, how much content do we have to go through with this? I know we have, if I'm correct, this is Skypiea, so we have Skypiea, and then I believe Thriller Bark was confirmed as well. And then I imagine Fishman Island is going to be in here, even though I haven't seen anything of Andrew Declan or Horty Jones, but I'm pretty sure Fishman Island will be in here. It's going to beat the roll crap out of Horty Jones. And, oh, there's Enedu. Yeah, this is Skypiea. So, you know, we'll have that. And we'll also have Punk Hazard, I'd imagine. If they got Law, you know, time skip Law, I'd imagine then we'll be able to go through Punk Hazard. So, you know, we have a couple of arcs. The first one covered a bit, but it skipped also some arcs, so it didn't do, like, all the part 1 as well. So, it really depends. Like, I'd imagine this story mode for this particular game will be a bit shorter than the first one. I hope I don't die here. As a matter of fact, let me see. I'm sure there's some health bars around here, but I don't want to die. I hate dying. No. Move, 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 move. Graphics look beautiful on this, by the way. Especially for a Musou game. It's looking awesome right now. It's looking amazing. Come on, come on. Enedu! Every time I see Enedu, I think of when in the anime, when Luffy was fighting him, he just kept on getting so pissed off with Enedu and screaming, Enedu! I love it. I always call him Enedu. I know it's Enel or Enel, but I call him Enedu. He has a swag like that. No, I'm just used to it because of the anime. Like a lot of One Piece, I really just went straight through with the anime. It was like I kind of broke it down the way I went through One Piece, and eventually I plan on going through each of them again on their own respective ways. Like go through a whole thing of the anime on its own and the manga. But like what I would do with One Piece when I was like really just like addicted to it is like whenever I would step out, I would bring one of the volumes that I had with me. And then whenever I was at home, I would watch the anime, and that's pretty much what it was. But then after a certain point, I even just like, I got so hooked to the manga that like I was just like, I'm not worried about the anime, and that was what really happened with that. So eventually I plan on going through all of it. And this was a load of fun, I'm not going to lie. Again, like I said with Musou's, you just turn your brain off, you clack away, you look at yourself destroying tons of enemies, and you really enjoy. And here comes Luffy getting ready to go that blow. Oh, man, look at that. Bam! Got that gold stuck to him. Oh! And he's off. I wonder how they're gonna... Well, I imagine this is a dream sequence, so it's gonna be, it's not gonna make much sense continuity-wise, because, like, you know, they're in time skip clothing, but they're fighting Enedu. What I would have liked is maybe if it would have been revisiting Enedu in the time skip or something like that. I thought that that would have been more interesting instead of this. But then again, who knows if Oda's planning on bringing Enedu back to the story, because I would really love for like Oda to bring stuff back that like a lot of people don't necessarily consider canon, or not that they don't consider canon, but you know, they say like this was Oda's mistake and Oda like shouldn't have made this. It feels like filler, like a Foxy. I always say this, and you know, partially joking, but partially as me thinking outside the box. Like, what if Oda brought Foxy back and made him a relevant character? Because yeah, it was funny with him, but he does have a pretty cool power, and if used correctly, if he didn't be such a dimwit with it, he could do some dangerous things. And Enedu, he was just an amazing villain. So I'd imagine seeing oh wow, that's it. I'd imagine it would have been nice to revisit these characters at some point. And knowing Oda, the genius that he is, we probably will see them at some given point. So that'll be a nice treat to see, but I guess that's just it. And I think this is the end of the demo? I think, yeah. This is just dialogue. We can't even understand this, so I'm gonna just skip right on through this. It sounds weird, but yeah. And I don't think there's any more gameplay to this, but yeah, so that's all for this quick little, I guess, gameplay, as it says, to be continued. Ooh, level 4. That's pretty cool. I wonder if I could carry this over to my game when I get it. Oh, wow. Zoro level 2 as well. That's pretty cool. Oh, man. I wonder if they're going to translate a lot of this, because in part 1, a lot of this text was in English, so hopefully they do that. And, yeah, that's all we have. Yeah, that's the end of the demo. Thanks for watching. And as always, people, bring your A game. It's no longer a game. Oh, yeah.